First, let me introduce myself. Hey everyone, I'm Himanshu Ajmera and I'm innovation design technologist and I work with Fifth Third Bank and mainly I work on AWS cloud. So using SageMaker, that's one of their machine learning tool or service for which on which you can perform any kind of machine learning that could include supervised, unsupervised, as well as reinforcement learning. Um, we are going to discuss what are the opportunities there in data field and then how the interview process look like and how you can prepare for one, then what all skills you will need to pursue a career in any data field, and then there are some resources that I have used personally and I have done like advised a lot of candidates who were pursuing career in data field. So I'm going to share those as well with you, right? So first of all, opportunities in data field. So basically, when you start working, and also just my slides may not contain that much information. So it would be great if you guys are taking notes and just ask the question if you have any question like in between. Don't feel like you're interrupting me. So uh, when when a company is looking for a data solution or trying to build some data pipeline or take decisions on the basis of data, there are four different components that you will need if you are trying to do anything with data, if you are trying to utilize data in any sense. First is data engineering. That includes pulling out data from different sources. That could be clustered, that could be your like a flat file like CVS and Excel, or that could be your old database, new database, or from cloud. And many times those could be public domains and different API services. So data engineering involved pulling that data, then cleaning it and making it in a format that is that can be utilized by other teams who are actually training the model. And further on, it's passed. And also to store it in a way that any team or anyone who wants to work with data can pull the data and start working with it. That does include cleaning of data as well. And honestly, when I work on some projects that includes building data pipeline, most of my time goes into data engineering part because that's something that anyone who is in data field has to go through. So once you have done data engineering and your data is ready to be trained, there is a modeling part. Now, modeling basically means training a model, that is training a function, a mathematical function in 3 dimension and many more dimensions, depending what all attributes you have or what all features you have. If I'm trying to predict someone's, uh, yeah, if I, so let's understand this with an example. If I want to predict um, a price of a house, what all features there could be. Uh, there could be a house area, carpet area, then how many rooms are there, and are there any scenic view around, uh, how about the locality look like how expensive the location is, all those things. These are features, basically these are the dimensions. And when you are trying to predict when you're trying to predict the price of these apartments or houses, you are trying to train a model that uh, took all these features into consideration and then gives you some output. Now, training or machine learning, you might have heard that there are different kind of machine learning models. One is supervised, then there is unsupervised, then there are reinforcement learning. Supervised learning is one where you share some responses along with those features that we were discussing. There will be some examples of price, like okay, if the apartment is 4 bedroom and then it is of carpet area maybe 750 square feet or more than that or something like that, all those things, then there will be this will be the price. That's what you are telling the machine, and machine will learn that. And when you throw some similar data, then it will predict price according to that function that you have trained. Unsupervised learning is where we just give the data to the machine, and the algorithm figure it out and gives you some basic values. Those basically works on probabilities. We can go in detail for those, but keeping that short, I will be focusing more on how you can get a job. Reinforcement is more about when you are asking machine to predict something, and then if it predicts right, you are awarding it. If it is not, then you are penalizing it. The third part is deployment part. So you have machine learning model trained, and it is trained on some training data that you have provide or some existing data. And now you want to use that model in a real time, in production time, when there will be more data coming, either real time or in batches, and you want to give out the inference or the output or the prediction right away. That's where deployment part comes in. Basically, you set a pipeline there and see, like, if customers or like if the output or input is given, how the output is coming out, and those deployment. That's what deployment means. And usually this part is taken care by software engineer who have understanding of machine learning. The last part is business analysis. Once there are predictions, then you visualize it on some business intelligence tool, and those business intelligence tools are the visualization on them are later used to take some decisions. We do have a business analyst in our team, and everywhere in the organization you will find analyst roles. Uh, and all they do is they look at the visualization or the trend either in the sheet or in the visualization, and then they will um, like either take decision or advice to the person who is making decision. If you see this word cloud kind of thing in the shape of bulb, basically those are the words that becomes titles. I will tell you how. So data and deep learning scientists, software, machine learning, those are the combination that makes job titles. Let's discuss some of the popular one. Data scientist. So what does data scientists mean? Data scientists are those people who not just perform modeling, that is training a model or training a function, but they also uh, clean the data at times. They do have to do that. And at times they also have to make decisions if there is no dedicated business analyst there. So this is how it works. The purple line you see here, those are basically the responsibility. And if you go in machine learning engineering part, then as I said, there will be deployment part as well. So machine learning engineer would not need to make any decision. What they can do is they can provide the best pipeline or the best data and the results on the basis of which business analyst can take decision, or the person who is like more like stakeholders can take decisions. Now data analyst part, yes, data analyst do perform some kind of data engineering. It may not require a lot of codings, but it does require like pulling the data from suppose you have deployed some model, and there are some ways, either write some SQL queries or perform some kind of operation, and then you are getting data. That is another kind of data engineering. You are getting results or pulling results from some source. So they do this thing and then prepare reports, like the business analysis part, and that's what their job mostly covers up. Software engineering machine and software engineers, more of ML trade software engineers, You can say that I'm more of software engineer with machine learning as straight, because I did some certification and took completed my master's in that. So software engineer ML, they do perform data engineering, because they are the one who are pulling data from, if you are working in some hardware factory or car factory, there will be data coming from sensors, and for those data to be pulled, you will need some coding experience. That's why software engineers are required there. Then if you have trained some model, or you may not, but some other colleague of yours who is a data scientist has trained a model, now it's a job of a software engineer to put it in a pipeline, so that it can be in a production, and anyone who needs an inference, they can just get it from there. Machine learning researcher. So these are people who are very similar to machine learning engineer, but since there is a one word called researcher, they would not be doing any deployment part, but they are more of evaluating the things. So not sure if you guys are aware of this, like AWS or GCP or Azure machine learning services. What happens there is they do offer some machine learning pre-trained algorithms, and you can just throw your data in, writing some like very little code, and use those algorithm pre-trained directly. These algorithms are prepared by machine learning researcher, or sometimes also go by name AI researcher. So they just research, they evaluate, they say, okay, this algorithm creates great results. So yeah, I mean, we can put it in a service, and then anyone can use it. And then there are software engineer who basically write more like API request. And then if someone is in, again, some car manufacturing company like Ford, they might be writing scripts so that data can be pulled from car to their database by some kind of sensory data, or any kind of data by API calls or service calls. Now we will discuss interview process. So interview process is very similar to any other interview process that you might face or see in any other job. What happens, you apply, and then you get a recruiter's call. Once recruiter find that your resume is a good match, once recruiter call you, they talk to you, ask about your experience very little, very briefly, and at times your availability and work status, all those things. And then recruiter, when they feel that you are confident enough and will be a good fit for the team, uh, they they pass you, and basically they send you the code test, or update you to the next level. Many times if they find that you're not a good fit, they will just not respond you, or maybe they will respond you saying you like position is closed or something else. This is a good opportunity for you right at the moment, as soon as you get in touch with someone in the company, to start exploring about the team, about the kind of projects they perform. So once you have a discussion with recruiter, you can definitely ask her what does team do, and what kind of project you will be working on, or what are the expectations from the role you have applied for. These kind of questions and this kind of knowledge gathering will help you when later you will be facing on-site interview and talking to the team members actually. Then the code test comes after recruiter's call, and you will be given some set of questions in a timely manner. So if the company is not that big, or depending on how team is structured, you probably skip that as well, depending on how urgent they are looking for a candidate. You can also get some kind of assignment that you have to complete in 2 day, 5 day. There's a deadline. Especially when I was interviewing, my interviews were very different uh, with different companies. The one, it was a startup, and they gave me a problem, a machine learning problem. The problem was, you are given an object, and you have to, from the images, you have to identify that object, train a model for that. Another question was, you will be given some set of sentences, and you have to determine whether they are questions or not. Make a classifier and take your time, because it was a startup. They were not in they were little in hurry, but they were ready to help and very communicative guys. So these code tests or assignments varied company to company. Then if you complete it in the timely manner, then you will be talking to a person within the team, or maybe your supervisor who, or engineer who is expert with the coding or whatever the team's requirements are. So they will give you some problem, and then they will see how you are approaching to the problem. You will be coding. You are given a question. If you have a cross question, just ask it. Keep on speaking what you are like. Keep expressing your thoughts, what you are thinking, what are the objective of the problem, and what could be the good approach, bad approach. All those things. They are not just saying that whether or not you are able to complete the problem or give the exact answer what they're looking for, but they mostly focus on what your approach is. If you clear that, then you are invited to on-site interview. In on-site interview, there will be interviews with team members. There can be interview with cross teams. So like many times when you work in an org, there are multiple teams, and you will be working with all of team, or like collaborating with them. So how well you are at collaborating. And especially in Amazon, there is a bar raiser interview. When you are doing really good in interviews, they send a bar raiser, and a bar raiser guy will ask you like some decent question, like really difficult ones, and you have to answer them. Not necessarily correct, but you will not even know who was the bar raiser, but there are some like way they have designed it, those interviews. You will definitely talk to your hiring manager or reporting manager, and they will tell you more about team's goal and what they expect from you. So those are usually the most friendly conversation after your recruiter's call. Then you get offer once the team and hiring manager find you a good fit, and then you can do negotiation and all those. So this flowchart that you see here, there could be some steps that are missing, or that you won't find in different companies or in some kind of interviews. I do remember I have given some interviews where the engineer directly called me that, okay, a recruiter gave your resume that he collected from one of the conference, and we are interested to have you on site. He just invited me like that. He just asked me a few questions about my projects, and then he said, yeah. And then I went there, and I had an on-site interview directly. Also, on the previous slide here, opportunities in data field. These are very generic job responsibility for data scientist, machine learning engineer, data analyst, but these job responsibility may vary. You may go with a title of analyst, yet you are doing more of data engineering part. And if you come from like if you have done some courses in your college where you know how to train a machine learning model, you may find yourself in a situation where you are training a model, because when you start working with data, you get more curious about what else can I do with that. So these are very generic responsibility, but can vary from your team to team and company to company. Now, how to prepare for the interviews? Just 1 minute. If you have any question, just let me know. Yeah. Preparing for the interviews. There are different parts of interview as we talked about. The one is the major one is technical interviews. Then there is behavioral interview that you often find in some really big companies like Google, Amazon, Microsoft. The core part of these behavioral interview is to understand how good fit you will be for the company and for the team, as well as are you suitable for the environment that they are working on. So that won't include any kind of technical problems, but more of collaboration and if you have any conflict. So you will be deliberately asked questions like if you had a problem in your past experience with any of your colleague, how you handled that, what was the problem. The best way to handle behavioral interview is always answer in star pattern. That is, what was the situation, explain that, what was the task that you were given in that situation, then what action you took, and what were the results. Always frame your question in this pattern and you will be good to go. Also, in behavioral, you do need to understand the job description and prepare stories accordingly, just to express that you have done this thing already, or you have a little bit idea of how to handle these kind of things. Also read about the companies, because you can also be asked these questions like why you want to join us, or why this company, or why this team. So be prepared for these kind of questions. The such questions are easily available on Glassdoor and other different platforms. Now, specifically for people who are targeting in data science field or machine learning field, know your projects. That's very, very important. Yes, you can hone your technical skill. You have done a lot of programming and like coding, but you should know your project. The reason is in many interviews, when I have my resume in front of me and one copy with the interviewer, they ask me to explain the project that I have done or I have mentioned in my resume. So in that part, when you are explaining it, they do ask you questions very similar to like, okay, what if I change instead of this function to that function? Or if you know the term called regularization, so if I use L1 or L2 regularization, what difference does it make? Those kind of questions. So be prepared with your project, what you have done or what you are writing. You should be able to explain them in detail. They sometimes ask you some commands, not always, sometime. And when you are saying that, yeah, you have worked on Google Cloud, you should be knowing those commands. Yeah, now statistical methods. So how come statistics is a part here in this presentation? The very basic difference between data science and machine learning engineer is machine learning guys, as we saw, are implementing things. They not necessarily be training models, whereas a data scientist, they do consider or they take this statistics part in consideration when they are training a model. Because data science is nothing but some number crunching and mathematics, and comes statistics. So you should be aware of statistical methods. There are some pretty decent course on Coursera and some by Stanford where you can have like statistics 101. So you do understand mean, median, mode, standard deviation, because all those terms comes really handy when you have trained a model and then you have to evaluate those models. Statistics really comes helpful. Data related terms and their meanings. So this is another thing. Data related terms are like regularization, as I said. Then what is convolution functions? There are many. So when you start studying any algorithm, or when you start studying any kind of machine learning techniques, you should be aware of terms that are related to it, because sometimes they directly ask you the question like, okay, what is deviation, what is derivative, and all those kind of questions. So you should be aware of those terms that are commonly used in any kind of machine learning or data science. Now the big part is technical interview. Those are usually be asked and are bigger part of your selection in any job position. So hacker rank, lead code, cracking the coding interview. These are core platform where you can learn coding. There are more links are in the should be in the notes. If not, I will definitely add those in the notes. And then Kaggle, Data Camp are more focused on data terms. And then Kaggle, if you are not familiar with that, they have so many data sets. You can pick any data set and start doing your own machine learning projects. Uh, Solving coding problems may not give you that much experience compared to how many projects you have done and how detailed projects you have done. DataCamp is really good platform for beginners who just want to get to know some package and don't know from where to start. Career Cup, they do have coding problems. They do have some interview experience shared over there. And Career Cup is a startup or a company run by the author of this book, Cracking the Coding Interview, Gail Lackman. So these are some resources that you can easily find online and sign up and start preparing through that. And skills to learn is another important thing we should discuss. Now, don't don't be don't afraid that there are so many things to learn. These are the icons of technologies that are usually used by different data field experts or data professionals. The first one is R, which is statistical programming language, often used by statisticians and and then by some data scientists. Don't have to worry about these things. Why? Because it completely depends on your organization or the company in which you are going and what the team is using. So when I was at the university and I was still looking at the job for the jobs, I did all my projects on Google Cloud and had pretty decent understanding. And when I started working at Fifth Third, now I completely work on AWS cloud services. So you don't have to learn everything. It's just you should be knowing a little bit or something. They hired me because I had a Google Cloud experience, but and they know that since I have learned one cloud technology and these technologies are very similar, I will be able to catch up on AWS as well. I can just quickly walk through all these technologies. And yeah, so R, as I said, is a statistical programming language. Python is one really powerful language that almost every data professional come across and do use at some point in their job. C++ and Java are more specific depending on if you are more working as a data engineer or software engineer. More on backend, you are preparing pipeline or you are writing services. Suppose you are working in Tesla and you are writing some code so that all the sensors that are gathering the data will be able to pull the data and then process it, throw it in the machine learning model trained. So you need to know C++, which is more like a firmware level language or very close to low level language. Usually hardware companies or manufacturers use C++ like Qualcomm, ASML. I have given their interviews and almost every one of them were using C++. Java is more of backend kind of service, so Amazon does use it, but there are more documentation and packages available for Python. So usually and slowly everyone is moving to Python now. SQL Server, or not definitely not dedicatedly Microsoft SQL, but any kind of SQL language, if you know it's good, you can apply for data engineering kind of job, and that comes really handy when you are working as data engineer, and you need to pull some data from databases. Then in the next layer, there's NumPy, Panda, Scikit-learn, TensorFlow, PyTorch. These are a few popular packages from Python, and similar packages are there for R, but not necessarily too many. But yeah, there are packages existing out there for R. NumPy and Pandas are very basic, and almost anyone who is doing data crunching will use that. Scikit-learn, TensorFlow, and PyTorch are more towards machine learning models. They do have trained machine learning models, or uh, trained one, but you have to provide your data and the model get tuned accordingly. TensorFlow and PyTorch are more high level and usually used for deep learning models, but not necessarily. There are some really good deep learning models in scikit-learn that you can utilize. All these are frameworks. Then Hadoop is for big data. If you are working as data engineer and your company has a lot of data or data cluster, you should be knowing Hadoop if you're applying for the job. These skills or technologies are usually mentioned in the job description, but if you pick any of these, I always prefer Python over any of these. So if I know Python and some of the packages I mentioned there, it's good. Then Tableau Tableau is a BI tool. There are more BI tools like Looker and one from Microsoft, Power BI, for data visualization. So if you are interested in data analyst or business analyst kind of job profile, then definitely this will be a good tool to get started with. It's getting popular and it's getting very powerful as well. I have seen Tableau growing from just a data visualization tool to now a tool where you can write services as well, so that data pipelines can be connected. You don't need any you can also write SQL queries in there. SAS is another tool for data crunching, and you can also train models on that. Jupyter Notebook is more like IDE, like NetBeans, but it's more dedicated for Python and for R as well, but usually popular for Python. And it, it gives you notebook. It also gives you interface where you can write scripts and run it. As we know that Python is interpreted language, you can run each statement. You don't have to compile entire scripts all at once. Now, Azure is a cloud service from Microsoft. Google Cloud is Google Cloud, and Amazon Web Services does offer dozens of services. Some of them are very dedicated to machine learning that are used by data scientists and machine learning engineer out there. So no need to learn all of these, but if you are picking any of them, you're getting started, just pick one and start growing that skill set. So if you start with Python, and then you will probably, as a data expert, you will be working with pandas and NumPy. Start with that. Then slowly, once you feel like you are good to go with, like, upgraded, you can add sklearn and then TensorFlow. And once you learn TensorFlow or even sklearn, in the market, in the field right now, until unless a company is working with like computer vision, machine vision kind of technology, if it is still decision based company who are looking at data, trying to get some insight from the pattern, they are still using sklearn and not TensorFlow. TensorFlow and PyTorch are some high level frameworks, more used for like machine vision and some NLP, advanced NLP kind of projects. So no need to worry about learning all of those. If you within Python, I'm talking, if you know NumPy, Pandas, and sklearn, you can start interviewing, and you can, as things comes in your job, you can learn them and along with that. Now, resources for job hunt. These are few resources that I have used myself when I was crazily looking for a job. And the first one is Hunter. So have you guys heard of Kanban board, where you have three or multiple columns? One is to-do list, then there is in progress, then there is completed. Hunter is exactly like that. Uh, you will have a Kanban board, you will have a Chrome extension, and if you are looking for a job on LinkedIn or on Glassdoor, that extension will pops up on your screen and automatically catch all the like fields. So like what's the title, what's the company, what's the job ID, and what's the JD, job description. It will pull, and all you have to do is, yeah, like just put it, hit OK, and it will be saved in your to-do list. To do means here you have to apply for this job, or you're basically putting this job in wish list. Then when you apply for that, you can move that card to either in progress if you're preparing resume or cover letter for that. If not, then if you're directly applying, you can just put it. This way you can explore more jobs position and just save them, and later when you are feeling like not doing anything or not doing anything anything very focused, just start applying for job. Just have your resume ready. Lead finder is for finding email addresses of recruiters and hiring managers at time. Same with sales intel. You can sign up for their trial version and use it. Clearbit does the same thing. It again let you find uh, the email address by company. If you write like company, enter the company name and then first name or last name of the person. If you only know the phone, it not necessarily give you the exact email address, but it will give you a pattern or like like most best guessed email address by other, because it runs on more on like uh, crowdsourcing. Hunter.io is to verify the email address. If you are not very sure about email address, you can verify here. Now Streak and Workera, yeah. So Streak is another powerful tool. That's a CRM for Gmail. Uh, Once I will have your email addresses, what I will do, I will create a like it will be saved in a CSV file, and all I have to do is I can mass email you like all at once. All I have to do is just give the CSV file to my Gmail pipeline or Streak pipeline installed in my Gmail, and it will pull all the email addresses and your names if required, and I can customize the email. So using this kind of tool, Streak also let you track your email if the recruiter or the person to whom you have emailed is letting you, it has seen your email or not. So once you have like a list of recruiters you have prepared, then you can mass email them. You can attach your resume, and at few places you can update, like you can say company name, and the value will be pulled from the CSV file, as well as the name of the person to whom you're reaching out. So you can do it for referral, you can do it for like for shortlisting or sharing your resume, so that you can express that you're interested in job. Workera is a startup, and they're doing really good, and I am part of, like kind of part of them. I'm a candidate council, so as a member of candidate council, I tell them that as a student or as a candidate who is looking for a job in data science, machine learning, software engineering, or any data field, uh, what should be my experience? What would I like to have as a service from them? They are free of cost. Once, if you are interested, you can let me know, and I will let you join their Slack channel. What Worker is doing here is you register on their website, and then you take a assessment test. You can take it 3 times in a 60-day. um, Once you take that, depending on your scores, depending on how you have performed in each sections, they have 6 different sections, like mathematics and software coding, and then data data science or machine learning part, then statistics part. They have six different uh, sections, and how you perform accordingly, they will share your profile and results with the companies only when you want it. So you can also browse job there. They do post jobs, and if you are interested, you can just click it and either apply or share your profile. And they do have tie-ups with big companies who work in AI and data science. They will see, like, recruiter and the hiring manager see your resume, your profile over from their platform, and if they are interested, they will directly give you a call.